The headline in the Mortgage News Daily reads, "Anyone who tells you they know what happens next for rates is lying." And you know what? That's a true statement. And I give my best guess on what can we expect in the week ahead. But really, you start off with one rate, all right? And we're going to start off on Monday with rates that are largely the same as they were at the beginning of the previous week. There's some movement up and down, but overall, we gained some, we lost some, and right at the end of the week, we're right back where we started. But let's get into what is going to happen this week, all right, because there is a lot going on. So let's jump right into it. On Monday, we have the National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index. Will home builders be a little more optimistic about the future? I think they will be based on the Fed lowering the Fed funds rate last week. Tuesday is a big day. We have ADP weekly preliminary estimate, but we also have the November BLS jobs report. We usually get that on the first Friday of the month. Now we're middle of December and we're receiving that. This is for the November numbers. They're going to bring in some October numbers. Unemployment last month was at 4.4%, or October was at 4.4%. Expectations that it will largely stay the same. But the Fed also stated last week that they were overstating the jobs numbers by about 40,000 per month. So we'll see what happens. I don't know where these numbers are going to fall. Nobody does. But there was some indication from the Fed that they expected to see job numbers come down. And based on what individual companies are saying and what we're seeing in the ADP monthly report, there's a good chance that the job numbers will be below expectations. Tuesday's a freaking hammer of a day. Tuesday we have retail sales report. This is kind of late too. We already know from Black Friday that the consumers were out spending money, and the retails report should kind of reflect that as well. So we'll see that on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, we have a 20-year bond auction. Thursday, we get more news. Thursday is the inflation news of the month. That's the CPI, the Consumer Price Index report comes out. Continuing jobless claims, initial jobless claims. We have a couple banks making their rate decisions, their Fed fund equivalent rate decisions. You have the Bank of England, and you also have the European Central Bank making their rate decision. And then on Friday, we have the Bank of Japan making their rate decision. There's some concern with the Japanese economy. They're spending money. They traditionally buy a lot of our treasuries. And if they raise their rates, then they may start pulling away from buying and may start selling our treasuries. We also have an existing home sales report coming out. So really just a lot of news this week, a lot of volatility. If anybody says rates are going to be down at 5 point whatever, they don't know. They're guessing, and it's the best guesstimate on where we're at, but we really don't know the numbers. We won't know the numbers till we see it. Numbers are good. Expect rates to come down. If not, guess what? Rates are going to go up again. And let's take a look at the rates as we start the week. 30-year fixed rate conventional between 6.3, 6.45, and then 30-year VA at 5.92. You can see we went up and down just a little bit. Not a lot of movement last week. We thought we would get a bigger bump off the Fed decision to cut the Fed funds rate, but we really didn't, and we lost some of that momentum on Friday. But this is where we are as we start the week. Hey, go Navy, beat Army. We got them this year. 2 years in a row that Navy retains the Commander-in-Chief trophy. What a great last-minute game that was. A lot of excitement in that one. I know it was exciting in my household as well. All right, you guys have a great week. Aloha.